What is going on, guys? Nathan here giving you an overview of Move That Update Up, which was literally released about an hour ago. My TF2 has updated, my server is ready to go so we can test out this update, but I'm on teamfortress.com. You can look at all of these patch notes. This is a really beefy update, guys. This is incredible. So, I would like to go over some stuff other than the items, but the items are going to be the biggest part of this commentary. So, in general, they did add basically 60 community submitted workshop items, so hopefully we can see some new items. That is amazing. I haven't really, this general stuff is kind of just general, doesn't affect TF2 too much, but one thing that did stand out to me is that in MVM, if all team members are unready, the pre-round countdown will stop, and that is huge because I've had it many times where you're in MVM with a team and you don't want the round to start because someone might be going to the bathroom or letting their dog out or whatever, and they're just not ready, but if someone had ready upped, not sure what the past tense of that would be. If someone had done that, the pre-round countdown would still go, and you'd have to play the round with 5 players, and it's just not as fun. So that's amazing. We got a lot of bug fixes here. Fixed a bug, fixed a bug, fixed a bug. And let's see, I think, yeah, that's pretty much it for the general that really stood out to me. Once again, if you want to read all of these full patch notes, go to teamfortress.com and look up the Move That Update Up post. Now, the maps is a big fix as well. So we have added CP stand-in and CP process. That's been discussed about before, but here we have huge fixes for a lot of maps. You can just scroll down all through here. There are a lot of fixes, but one thing that did stand out to me that made me kind of laugh inside a little bit is that on CP Dust Bowl, Star will have a better time because if you don't know, Star made a video a while ago that basically had where he's doing this practice jump. He was showing people how to do this jump on Badlands, and he was basically describing how he would get stuck on this rock ledge that was near Spiral a lot, and it looks like that small clipping on that rock ledge has been removed. So that is awesome. And so Dust Bowl, we got a lot of players building in spawns. A lot of that has been fixed for a lot of maps. I don't really want to go over all of this stuff just because it's so thorough, but Badwater got a lot of fixes. Look at all that. And let's see, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't want to go over all of these once again, but here we get to the main section, the items. Now, a lot of items have been updated, and this is fantastic that so much stuff has been fixed or, balanced, and I'll probably end up making a lot of videos on these updates. So here, I'll just start out. Here we have some hats. We don't really care about hats because honestly, hats are just not that important in TF2, but it's a hat simulator joke. Not gonna make that joke, but anyway, so Criticola. So now, removed damage taken, mini crits, added damage taken, increased 25%. Now, mini crits, if you guys don't know, mini crits basically have you take 150% damage, which now it'll have 125% damage, so they took away an additional 25% damage that you might have taken, which is pretty good. I mean, a buff is nice to have, but this buff, I was actually a little bit surprised that they would have taken away the damage that you take, but hopefully, maybe the critical will be used a little bit more. It's not used very much right now, but here we have the shortstop, a little bit of a dynamic update, added 20% bonus healing while deployed, and added 80% vulnerability increase to all push forces while deployed. So I'm not entirely sure what they mean by 20% bonus healing, whether that means, oops, my bad, guys, whether that means they'll be healed, or scouts will be healed a little bit more by medics or by health packs. Not entirely sure what that means, but the 80% vulnerability increase to all push forces, that's a little bit more odd. Scouts will definitely be pushed back more by sentries with the shortstop, and I mean air blasted obviously, but that's just a little bit of a weird update. I'm not entirely sure how that will play out, but we move on. The winger has been buffed finally added a 25% jump height bonus when active. That's a little bit more odd. I'm thinking that the winger will evolve into more of a passive secondary, like the Pocket Boy's pistol, where you don't really use it that much, because then you can still have the plus 25% jump height bonus. Well, when active, maybe. I'm not entirely sure if that means that you have it out or you just have it in your set while you're running around, but that'll be a little bit more interesting on the battlefield. See what maybe some people can jump to new heights with this, or find shortcuts or whatever in rollouts or something. But all sets, by the way, guys, all sets, the special delivery set, the sniper set, Sydney sleeper sniper, I don't even remember, all sets basically have been removed. Their stat changing stats, for lack of a better word, have been removed. So now all sets basically have this: leave a calling card on your victims. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Hopefully we'll find out later, and it'll probably be interesting. But now you don't have that ridiculous, like, plus 25 max health for the scout to have the shortstop, a hat, and the mad milk and the fish. That's just a little bit ridiculous to me. So kind of a bad idea in the first place. But anyway, we move on to the battalion's backup. Added additional plus 50% sentry damage resistance to all teammates while banner effect is active, and now it is a 50% damage reduction while banner is active. I think before this update it was a 40% damage reduction. I'll have to maybe verify that. I'm not entirely sure though. And then rage is now generated from damage dealt instead of damage received. This is the big one, guys, because previously, the battalion's backup was so useless because no one could realistically take whatever the 400 damage it took to charge the thing up, and still heal and not die. So that is a good thing. Hopefully the battalion's backup will be used a little bit more, and I will definitely try this out. Maybe bring you guys a video on it, on if it's worth it now instead of, for example, the buff banner. Now the black box, basically sound corrections, and don't really care about that. Beggar's Bazooka exploit has been fixed that allowed reload canceling. That's good. Misfired rockets now remove one loaded rocket from the clip. I'm not entirely sure if that was a big deal actually from the beginning, but the Conqueror rage is now generated only from damage dealt, so a little bit of a nerf. Previously it was damage taken and dealt. Buffed players now receive a speed boost in addition to the previous health on hit effect, so a little bit of a buff in that category. So Conqueror might be a little bit better, perhaps. It depends on how much of a speed boost players get, to be honest. So we move on to the Cow Mangler, and this is a little bit of a confusing update. Reduced clip size. Sorry about that phone in the background. You kind of have to deal with it until someone answers it. Reduced clip size from 5 to 4. Removed minus 10% damage attribute. Removed 5% slower reload attribute, added missing sets on, so basically just added missing text and new particles and sound. So the sound will be a little bit interesting, but anyway, this is really confusing because now with these three things, does that mean that it will basically be the default rocket launcher, except that you can basically fire all of your shots in one charged explosion? That will be, that's what I'm looking at from this. I haven't looked at any of the items actually in game yet, so I'll have to look at their stats. But is the Cow Mangler basically just the default rocket launcher, like a straight up upgrade now? Oh, but it doesn't have crits. That's the thing. It doesn't have crits. So I don't know. Maybe the Cow Mangler will become a little bit less interesting now. But we move on to the escape plan. Players receive the Mark for Death effect after deploying and for a short period after holstering. This is a good nerf because now people who want to escape a potential death from, let's say, a heavy, for example, and instead of running around a corner and escaping with 5 health and full speed, now maybe that soldier might have taken an extra mini crit, and now that, people with such low health like that might now be killed instead of, running away successfully with the escape plan at such low health. But The Liberty Launcher removed 25% reduced clip size penalty, added 25% reduced damage penalty. So now the Liberty Launcher has 4 shots instead of 3, but it does less damage for extra rocket speed. That will be a little bit more interesting. Kind of the opposite of the direct hit, but they both have in common basically that the rockets go fast, obviously. But it'll be interesting because now I think overall that's a buff for the Liberty Launcher, because not having that extra rocket is a huge deal for Rocket Launcher, but will it be made up with the 25% reduced damage penalty? I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see on the battlefield. Original rocket explosions now use correct sound, blah 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 sound, not really something that interests me. And I think, okay, I was gonna say Steam almost just crashed, but, so let's see here. Tank Buster set has been removed. Phlogistinator got a slight buff, if you can really call it a buff. Basically, instead of the oomph progress resetting after touching a resupply cabinet, you'll still retain your meter. The power jack has been changed, added 15% increased move speed while deployed. That's interesting. Pyros will have a new rollout now, or a buffed rollout, and added 20% damage vulnerability to all sources. And that might be, it doesn't say while deployed, so that's interesting. Does this mean that you constantly take 20% extra damage, period, end of story, and you don't have to have it deployed to have that? So that's kind of interesting. Maybe they forgot to include that, but I highly doubt it. Power jacks, I don't know, that'd be interesting. Gas jockey's gear has been removed. Good thing. Charge and Targe added afterburn immunity. This is really nice because now the Charge and Targe has an extra edge over the Splendid screen. That is fantastic. So now it's a little bit more of an equal choice instead of just choosing the Splendid screen, because the Charge and Targe does have extra damage reduction to fire and explosions, but having an extra buff to it doesn't hurt too. The loose cannon range no longer affects direct cannonball impact damage. Reduced charge time to 1 second. I have a feeling this will be huge. Added double donk, which sounds like a cool new aspect. Basically directly impacting an enemy within half a second before the bomb explosion. And double donk damage, now mini crits. So basically, double donk is something that you'll want to get. I'm guessing it'll be kind of like a collateral with the Machina, like the same kind of concept, except, I mean, obviously I'm not talking about game mechanics, but it'll be kind of cool if you see somebody get a double donk or something. So that'll be kind of interesting too. The Expert Ordnance set has been removed. Buffalo Steak Sandwich. Remove damage taken many crits, and instead, damage taken increased to 25%. So the steak sandwich has been buffed. You now don't take that additional 25% additional damage. Deloca's bar, increased amount of health restored per bite from 15 to 25. That is really nice. Deloca's bar has been buffed. Maybe it will compete with sandwich, although I don't. I honestly am doubtful about that. The Gunslinger has been nerfed a little bit. We're getting there to a nerf on the Gunslinger. Fixed a bug that caused many sentries to heal while being constructed. That was the thing that, basically, if you didn't know, if you would build a mini sentry and someone would shoot a rocket at it or whatever, before it finished building, the mini sentry would still have full health, even though it did take a rocket. So maybe mini sentries will be a little bit less powerful, although I kind of doubt it, because you can still, it still builds so fast, guys. It's just ridiculous. But let's move on to the Rescue Ranger. Minor increase in damage per bolt. That's nice because the Rescue Ranger did basically shit for damage. I think it was like 18 at a distance, something stupid like that. Increased building healing from 50 to 75 per bolt. Now, I'm not sure about this one. This one has mixed feelings because I don't want engineers to be able to heal their sentry a ridiculous amount from a distance. Like, I still think that you need the original concept that engineers need to be hitting their sentry in order to heal it. So, the Rescue Ranger before had a good heal rate, and I think this will improve it from a good heal rate to a great heal rate, but I'm not entirely sure if that's more than the wrench or equal to the wrench, or I don't know. We'll see with that one as well. The Short Circuit. Ammo cost reduced when an attack destroys a a projectile. So the short circuit has been buffed. They didn't mention like how much it has been reduced, this ammo cost, but that's good that it has been buffed, because the short circuit is a very good weapon, very underrated. The Wrangler, slightly reduced accuracy of manually controlled sentry at long range. That is fantastic. Wrangler needed a slight nerf in my opinion, and it has been, but protective shield now fades 1 second after the owning engineer dies, so that is good. The Wrangler has been nerfed a little bit. I do like how the accuracy has been reduced. I think that is a well-placed nerf, because, you know, just controlling a sentry from across the map can sometimes be a little bit ridiculous. Like you shouldn't have that strong of a force controlling the battlefield at such a long range. So now we move on to the Crusader's crossbow. Changed arrow projectile to a large syringe. That'll be a little bit interesting and kind of funny to experiment with. Added new trail effects. That will be a little bit funny to view as well. Smooth out reload animation. That's good as well. And fixed being able to heal players that are using items that block healing. So the Crusader's crossbow got a visual update and a little bit of a buff here. The quick fix added 50% overheal. Now that is fantastic. Finally, the quick fix is not this crappy piece of crap weapon. Uber now affects the medic when there's no heal target. I don't remember not having this affect me whenever I did Uber alone as a medic. Like, I actually always thought that I was affected, but apparently not, so there you go. Shotguns with pushback no longer affect players under the effect of quick fixes Uber, so basically you can't fan jump or get an extra speed bonus or whatever from shooting behind you with the force of nature while Ubered, because it has that pushback negation. But the Vaccinator Uber now fully absorbs crit damage for the selected damage type, but depletes Uber charge based on the amount of damage prevented. This is pretty nice as well. Vaccinator got a little bit of a buff, however, it's still not that good of a weapon for the medic. But we move on to the Bizarre Bargain. Fix the starting charge rate being negative 40% instead of 20%. So now the Bizarre Bargain basically got a little bit of a nerf with this, or they fixed it, I guess. Maybe people were starting off with a negative 20%, not entirely sure how that worked. Cap the max charge rate to 200%. So I think, in summary, the Bizarre Bargain got a little bit of a nerf. I haven't used it almost at all, so I couldn't really give an educated opinion on that. But the Cozy Camper got a definite change. Removed movement penalty and instead damage taken increased by 20%. So that's a little bit interesting. Now you will permanently take 20% damage with the Cozy Camper and not have the movement penalty. And I really kind of think that's not a well-placed nerf or buff, depending on how you see it. It's kind of equal in my opinion, but I think the reason it was called the Cozy Camper was because you would sit still and snipe with this movement penalty, but I don't know, we'll have to see how it plays out on the battlefield once again. And the Darwin's Danger Shield, bullet damage taken is reduced by 15%, and explosive damage taken increased by 20%. So a little bit of a trade-off here with the Darwin's Danger Shield. Now you don't take as much damage by bullets, but increased damage for soldiers and demoman. I was thinking pyro for some reason. That was weird. But the Krakow style kit has been removed. Dead Ringer got a nerf with when under the effect of feign death, damage taken decreases the duration of the effect. So now if you take a Crockett to the face while you're dead ringed, that will pretty much get rid of your cloak, and you will uncloak immediately. So players can now basically hunt down spies faster, and spies won't be able to get away as easily, or basically they won't be able to travel as far while under this feign death effect. So the L'Étranger added 40% increased cloak duration. Now that is fantastic. The L'Étranger was a little bit of a weak revolver, but now with this 40% increased cloak duration, I think that is a lot to put on a revolver personally, but I do like that it's buffed at least, so we'll have to see how the L'Étranger now competes with pretty much the only used revolver, which is the Ambassador, and then you have like the default is strong as well, and the Enforcer. Is it the Enforcer that's kind of still a little bit overpowered? But anyway, that's beside the point. We move on to the Spicicle. Fixed a bug that would cause the charge meter, so basically the Spicicle has been fixed, and the Saharan Spy set is now removed. So, in summary, this update is amazing. Lots of stuff has been fixed and added, and I would totally be fine if this was the only actual item update for the summer. And I am very, very pleased with these balances. Sometimes, or actually almost all the time, it is nice to have these little, tweaks here and there that just make TF2 a more balanced and fun game. So, that is the Move That Update Up update. A little bit of repetitiveness there, but anyway, that has been the video, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you could leave a like on the video, I would very much appreciate it, and subscribe for more Team Fortress 2, and as always, peace out.